do this often. I think like once a week.
Oh, that's me. I think. Oh, maybe not. Where's that echo coming from? Are you muted?
I am, yeah.
Huh. That's weird. Huh.
Well, I don't know what happened. It sounded good on my end.
Weird.
How about now?
Yes.
Yes, testing 1, 2, 3.
No echo there.
Okay.
Wow.
We're
cool.
better.
Right on. So you started out early, and then I saw you a little later. But it was cool that you were in the lake. And talk about that. I heard you kind of talk a little bit about that with Wendy.
Oh, okay. So we went in the lake, and since it was my first time, they kind of had me go in slowly. So what I thought, I was surprised we didn't have wetsuits on, kind of, but I guess that defeats the whole purpose of your body and skin reacting to the cold water. But anyways, we walked in, and you go kind of like chest down, so you get your heart below the water line, and your first kind of like reaction is to get out of the water because it's cold. But I promise you, if you keep walking in there and just get your chest below that water level and you sit in there, it doesn't have to be for too long. Just, I think I was maybe in there for less than 5 minutes. And yeah, I just, go back up, walk up. People were so surprised that we were in the water. People started to gather on the beach for the sunrise ceremony. And yeah, it was fun. I know Rachel did a good interview with Kara Levin. They were very interested in what we were doing. I know Rachel's a veteran. She does her cold water plunges quite a bit, but
Right.
yeah, it was fun.
And then you were with a couple of our relatives from Ho Chunk too, which I thought was really cute because it must have been dark when you did that.
Yeah.
And what happened was that I saw the Lone Tree sisters later, and they said, "Where's Haley? We want to meet her when it's light out."
Yeah, because this whole water plunge thing was pre-sunrise ceremony, so the sun was not up yet. It was very dark. There was still steam like coming off of the water, the surface. It was beautiful though. I don't know if people listening haven't had a chance to go to Thomas Beach, Bade-Macoska in Minneapolis, but you can see the Minneapolis skyline from across the lake. It's beautiful. The Kauai Strong triathlon happens there every year, and part of that triathlon is canoeing across the lake.
Well, what's exciting too is we want to do the show really fast today, so we're going to talk really fast so we can get to so we
Is
can
that
get
how
to
it works?
so we can get to the powwow. Right, it starts at 5 at the Minneapolis Indian Center, which is about 10 minutes from where we're at here, and we'll talk really fast. And then we got some really groovy guests, but we went to that, and then I went to American Indian Magnet School, and they had it going on over there.
They did. There were so many people tabling, so many different great organizations in our community, so many familiar faces. The American Indian Family Center of St. Paul was out there. Wakan Teepee from St. Paul.
Minnesota History Center.
Yeah.
They were out there, the big shots, and we're going to have her on tomorrow.
Yeah, speaking of Rita Arndt, we did see her, Rita from the Minnesota Historical Society, who will be joining us every other Tuesday for the next few months.
And then we saw our uncle Jerry Deerling, who is Master of Ceremonies, and a lot of young ones there, which warms my heart. And I saw, of course, Harding High School was there and their kids, and it was at American Indian Magnet School. So there was a lot of young ones bust in there. And I kind of missed the parade, but they seemed to have a really successful feast and turnout. It was really fun. So,
wow.
And again, tonight we're going to be going to the powwow.
Yeah, at the Minneapolis American Indian Center, the brand new, very nice Indian Center. That starts grand entry at 5 p.m., right?
Right on. Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, and then today we have a really interesting show, and before they get on, it's really cool, and I think part of the "we're still here" kind of thing, Haley, is that like we're doing radio, we're Native Americans, and we're doing radio. We're still here. It isn't like we're dinosaurs and we died out, and we have people writing books, doing movies, doing TV shows, making music and things like that are amplifying our story as Native Americans.
Yeah, we're going to be joined in the next segment here by John Williams, who is the Vice President of Development at NACDI, Native American Community Development Institute. And he's going to be bringing along some good friends of his. They're going to be talking Native love jams.
That's right. The book that came out, and now they're going to make it into a movie. They won an award. There's all these things that they're happening. But before we get any further, I didn't know John was vice president.
He is.
Yeah,
it is VP.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
did not know that. Well, he has a new title next time I see him. And today I saw him earlier, and he had those unbelievably cool pants, ribbon pants.
Ribbon jeans.
Yes, jeans. Thank you.
Wanda thinks they were pretty cool too.
Wanda loves our show.
She does. She's our biggest fan.
Maybe we could open that door and shoo her out.
Okay.
I don't know.
Next commercial break.
Yeah. Well, and today, again, happy Indigenous Peoples Day. And I have to say, one of my all-time favorite shows was The Sopranos. And they had a clip I saw floating around, and how they were mad that they were being erased in Columbus Day. And I remember watching that show, and they went down and beat up the Indian protesters down in the city.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Wow.
The 90s were great.
Yeah. Well, speaking, this reminded me of something that we talk about on the show is like, we're not a thing of the past. Mm-hmm. And this was a very random thing. I was at a pumpkin patch. I'm not going to say where.
Oh.
There was a sign. Yeah. There was a sign that said Native Americans used to use pumpkin seeds for medicine. Oh. And it was interesting. I know we have about a minute left here until break, but it was interesting because they were trying to acknowledge us, right? Yeah. As Native Americans, but they did that in the past tense by saying used, like we don't use that anymore, or we don't use traditional medicines anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. But we're still here.
And we know that, and we talk about that on Native Roots Radio, and there's we saw a lot of people down there and a lot of medicines, and they're everywhere. So we're really excited to have these guys on. And that next up, we'll be seeing John Williams and his crew. And I can't wait to hand over the show to John, because he's an expert here on Native Roots Radio and the book. And I just saw him go, what? Hey, we'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio. I'm awake.
If the statistics say that 1 in 3 Native women and 1 in 6 Native men have experienced sexual assault in their lifetime, it means our whole community is affected by sexual violence. 1 is too many. Don't stand by, stand up. Don't engage in acts of sexual violence, and shut down the dirty jokes, the gossip, the victim blaming and shaming. As a community, we can change the way we respond. Contact the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition to attend a workshop to learn more.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Fossil fuel camps, like pipeline and oil drilling villages, are increasing violence against our Indigenous sisters. Temporary workers from these camps have led to a surge in sexual assaults. In North Dakota, assaults on women rose by 75% after man camps arrived during the 2000s oil boom. We must hold big oil companies accountable for this violence and demand action. By electing leaders that prioritize the health and safety of our Indigenous communities, we can fight back. Our vote is our voice. It's time to use it to protect our people, stand up for climate justice, and ensure a safe future for our next generations. Make voting a tradition, or MVAT, is about strengthening our Native communities. NVAT is here to boost our voter turnout and spark important conversations about the issues that matter most to us. Find your early voting location at sos.state.mn.us. Let's make voting a tradition so we can fight for the safety of our communities. Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Howl! Annie, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACDI, in Minneapolis.
Hey, those are our friends. And speaking of friends, we have John Williams and Elizabeth Day on here. And John, we have Tasha Hart too. She just jumped on here. Great. And we're going to be talking about the casting call for Native Love Jams, the movie. But I just want to get John on right away and talk a little bit about the book and then of course the movie and what you guys are doing. So really excited. And this is definitely doing this kind of work is definitely land back work, and it's definitely we're still here work, and so we're happy and proud to amplify your voices today.
Right on. Thank you, Robert. How are you?
Pretty good. It was good seeing you today, and I always like those. I was corrected by Haley. Those are jeans. Those are sacred ribbon jeans.
Yeah, I don't know how sacred they are. I feel sacred wearing them. Yeah, Anita Lovelace, she made them for me. I had this idea that I wanted some ribbon jeans, and I don't know how to sew. So Anita's from Little Earth and does star quilts for everyone. Here's my cat.
Right on.
Hi, Haley.
Hey, John. Good to see you again. Thanks for coming, and we're excited to talk to you guys about Native Love Jams, which is going to be the film based off of the novel written by Tashia Hart.
That's right. We've got Elizabeth Day here and Tashia Hart, and I don't really know how to form it because all three of us are in this together, but I kind of wanted to interview Elizabeth and Tashia. There are two creative people on the film, and so I don't know where you want me to start, Robert. You want to ask some questions? Anybody?
Well,
anybody. I'm just kidding.
My first question is, what is your favorite Native-centric radio show? No, just kidding.
Well, that's a given.
No, but excited about the process. And how did the process start? First, of writing the book and coming up to it, and then really the next process is, how did you three find each other?
Well, that's the fun story. But should we do it? I want to feature these guys a little bit. Can we do a couple of introductions?
Great call.
All right, Elizabeth, why don't you go?
Hi, Bonjour. My name's Elizabeth Day. I was born in Cass Lake. I'm from the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe, and then grew up in the Twin Cities area. And this is my dog, Scruffy.
Scruffy.
Cute.
Scruffy. Oh.
So he might be loud. I'll try to mute him quiet. But
oh, this is a pet-friendly show. We have
Yes.
dogs barking and cats meowing all the time here, and we're and Nate and my wife Wendy talks about her sacred animals, so this fits right in there. So bark away, Scruffy.
yeah, so I am co-producing and the director of Native Love Jams. So I'll let Tashia introduce herself.
Hey, Bonjour. Thanks for having us on. Dindis Kwe Indigu, Tashia Hart, Shaganashimo, Indigenous Cause. I'm from Red Lake. My name is Tashia Hart. I'm the writer. I wrote the novel Native Love Jams and then turned it into a screenplay. And I'm just really excited to be on the show.
Right
Awesome.
on.
Thanks a lot. Let's hear how you guys met, John.
Well, the story goes back to Tashia writing the novel during NACDI's and All My Relations Native Authors cohort. I don't know how much you guys know about that, but it started in 2021, Tashia?
2020.
2020. And then Tashia was in the first cohort. That cohort was mentored by Diane Wilson, our good friend and celebrated author. But Tashia, can you tell us a little about that experience?
Yeah, that was that was an amazing experience. In 2020, I was invited to be a part of the program, and of course, COVID had just hit, and I was just in the process of trying to figure out what my next work of fiction was going to be, and so. In the group, there was, I believe, 7 other Native women writers and of all ages, and most were older than me, and that was amazing to hear their stories. And so how it went was that how I work as a writer is I work out of a dream journal. I'll write any notable dreams that I have down, and then that's what seeds all of my fiction work. And so in 2020, basically when I submitted my first round for critique, what I submitted was just like my dream journal, a majority of my dream journal, and it had some really bizarre dreams, some kind of weird dreams, some that were, there was like, violence based, and just based on experience. And then there was one dream that was about the wilderness and a young couple. And so my second round of submissions, I had thought really hard on the group of women that I was sharing with. And I knew that it was going to be at least a year-long program. And I thought about, what do I want to bring? What kind of words do I want to bring and share? And it really made me think about, community and how we affect each other with our words and our stories. And I decided that I wanted to bring words of like love and joy. And so I picked that dream seed. And that's how Native Love Jams was born.
Wow.
And then you took that experience, Tashia, and you self-published in 2022 or 2023?
2023.
Elizabeth, in this interim, while Tashia's publishing a novel that she wrote, you were directing a feature-length documentary. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Yeah, this is my first directorial of a feature film. It's called Without Arrows. And it will be broadcast on Independent Lens this winter. We'll have a big announcement for the release coming up in the beginning of December. So you'll have to hold off on the broadcast date for a minute, but it'll be on Independent Lens. And so Without Arrows is it's the story of a Lakota family. My co-director, John Olszewski, had been filming the Fiddler family on the Cheyenne Sioux River Tribe Reservation for 13 years. And the story starts with our main protagonist, Delwyn Fiddler Jr., living in Philadelphia and making the decision to move back to his reservation and rediscovering his roots and being with his mom and dad and becoming a father himself. And it's just a really beautiful portrait of a family. And I'm starting to get really nervous about the broadcast. It's a really vulnerable position to be in, hoping that I, did everyone justice and help share a beautiful story without sanitizing it, but not being manipulative or salacious in any kind of way. So we edited it for 2 years, and actually the theatrical version will be at the Twin Cities Film Festival at the Icon Cinema Showcase in November. I think November is a Sunday, November 13th at 2 p.m. I'll have to double check on, but if you want to see it in the theater, the theatrical version of it, it'll play then. So that's what I'm working on currently. And then I read Tashia's book, Native Love Jams. I'm a slow reader. Okay. I admit that about myself. I'm not a fast reader. And it was a rainy Saturday afternoon, and I opened up Tashia's book and read it cover to cover in one sitting. And it was just so funny and lighthearted and just joyful and like a little steamy. And I was like, oh my God, this could really be a movie. And I called Tashia, and she thought that would be fun to do.
That's awesome.
Right on.
That's awesome. We got a less than a minute, John, to go, and I wanna know from Tashia how difficult it is to transpose your book into a treatment, into a script, and what all is put in there, John. Do we have like direction? The person looks into the camera, and or a person runs to the left, and or is that up to the director? So I want to talk a little bit about that, and of course what you want to talk about. And you're going to have a reading here, and that's kind of the main thing that we want to talk about. And we got a minute left, John. So spew out some good stuff here in this next minute.
Well, sure. I just wanted to point out, I'm kind of bragging for her, but Elizabeth's also directed short films. She has a wonderful film called Sunshine. And I saw the documentary in 2 phases, and it was really kind of amazing to see. Elizabeth said this to me, and I didn't understand it, and now I'm going to get to understand it, is that the story can happen in the edit. And I just thought that was so cool. And Tashia is teaching me a little about that right now on a different project that she's teaching on. And so, we want to get back to the story of how this all came together last summer, but I know we have to go to break. So hold tight.
We'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio, and we got the casting call for Native Love Jams, the movie. We'll be right back.
Every day, our people suffer at the hand of domestic and sexual violence. But you are sacred and deserve to be safe in your own home. Strong Heart's Native Helpline is here to help. Native-centered, empowerment-based, trauma-informed advocates offer safety, sovereignty, and support. Call or text 844-7-NATIVE. To chat online, visit www.strongheartshelpline.org. Reach out today.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950. Indigenous communities are on the front lines of air pollution. Pipelines, mines, and waste incinerators are often built near our homes, harming Mother Earth and our health. The result? Higher rates of asthma, diabetes, heart disease, and other serious health problems. In the Twin Cities, air pollution disproportionately affects Native and Black communities. Indigenous Minnesotans, especially in the metro, experience over twice the rate of asthma compared to white Minnesotans. This pollution affects our quality of life and the future of our children. In Minneapolis, our vote helped close the Smith Foundry and bituminous roadways. Let's continue using our vote to fight for climate justice. Make voting a tradition, or MVAT, empowers Native communities by increasing voter turnout and supporting conversations about critical issues like clean air, water, and health. By getting involved, we shape the policies that protect our families and environment. Find your nearest polling location at sos.state.mn.us. Let's make voting a tradition for future generations.
The Minneapolis Institute of Art is featuring the art and legacy of Jody Falwell, a groundbreaking potter from Cabo Owinga, New Mexico. Over the past 50 years, Falwell has revolutionized Pueblo pottery and native art by weaving in personal, political, and social stories into her pieces. Her exhibition titled Opawa Omung shows the incredible range of her work and the impact she's had on both native and contemporary American art. You can check it out at MIA through January. For more info, visit artsmia.org.
As we age, it's important to invest in our health and to help protect it. Like the flu, COVID-19 is always changing. That's why it's important to stay up to date on your vaccines. By getting the flu and COVID-19 vaccines, you can renew your body's defenses and lower the risk of getting sick. Get your health boost and protect yourself against the flu and COVID. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Again, that's vaccines.gov. Vaccines.gov.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Partly cloudy with patchy frost tonight and a low of 35. Then Tuesday, sunshine with a high of 54. The music is still the hottest at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. View their upcoming music schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Strong Hearts Native Helpline. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Strong Hearts offers culturally appropriate support and advocacy for Native Americans. You can call or text them for free anytime at 1-844-7-NATIVE. That's 1-844-762-8483, or chat online at strongheartshelpline.org.
Hey, we're here with our friend John Williams. And John, I want you to take over the show and tell our audience how you guys met and started working together. And that sounds like a cool story to start this next segment on.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. It's been the story is developing, but it couldn't be better so far. Elizabeth and I worked together at NACDI. Elizabeth was in charge of a couple of our programs at NACDI, MVAT and our food sovereignty programs. And that's how we met. And we kind of knew right when we met each other that something was going to come of this. I don't know what. But to get everybody in the picture, Tashia went through the Native Authors Program, published her book. Elizabeth, film director, worked at NACDI, needed to move on to work on her documentary, and did that. I saw the rough cut of Without Arrows, and I realized very quickly how talented Elizabeth is. And so I told her, I said, whatever your next project is, I want to help. And that's all I said, Robert. That's all I got myself into, I thought.
Hey.
And then Elizabeth came in like in September over to Powwow Grounds in NACDI. And I had picked up Native Love Jams because it was one of our Native authors. And I didn't know Tashia then. Elizabeth knew both of us. And so I read it. And Elizabeth said, this is the next project. And did you have the book with you? I can't remember, but I was like, that's it. And so you tell the rest of it, Elizabeth. We're back in October of last year.
Okay. Oh, so I had met Tashia because I was friends with her husband, Jonathan Thunder. And we just met through that friendship. And it just was like, now I have another sister. It was awesome. And it was always fun to hang out with those two. And now with Minnow, their son. But okay, so we're like, okay, yes, let's do this. Let's make a movie. This is going to take some time. Just it takes time to get movies going. And then that was in the fall. And then in December, we're like, there is a pitch competition that we can apply for. It's through the Minnesota Film Festival, an amazing film festival in Duluth. I highly recommend it. Let's apply for their pitch competition. That way we can start thinking about how do we as a group want to start talking about this movie. We can get some writing done. And then as we, go through time, we can have some writing that we can copy and paste and start applying for grants and do some development work. Fast forward to January, we are a finalist in the pitch competition. And we're like, oh my God, okay, so we're really going to do this. We're really just going to pitch. I'm like, don't stress about this. We will pitch this movie 100 times. This is let's just practice and get it out of the way. And just go through the process once, just as a learning deal. We won the pitch competition. And through that, we the right people being in the right room. Mandy June Turpin, who's a producer, we caught her attention. And it's one of those things too, like they teach you in film school, know the elevator pitch, because sometimes all you have is 30 seconds with someone. And someone brought me into a room with her, and it was like kind of a mingling situation, and everyone was walking out the door. And Carrie Bush from the Upper Midwest Film Office said, "Mandy, you have to meet Elizabeth. She has a movie." And I said, 2 native chefs go berry picking and fall in love in a berry patch. And she's like, "Love it. Let's meet tomorrow." And I called John. He was at the film festival. He had already left. I'm like, "You're going to have to turn around and come back."
He had already left.
Oh, John already left.
Yeah. And I turned around and came back, and we sat down with Mandy June Turpin for 2.5-hour meeting, Elizabeth, Tashia.
Yeah.
And there was just so much excitement. We were so excited. Well, and I have to tell you, that same night that we won the pitch competition, Elizabeth won as best local filmmaker for Without Arrows. So she cleaned up with statues that night. But we were stunned. We were just sitting there stunned. And we rehearsed the pitch for like weeks. But Tashia and Elizabeth got up there, and then they improv a little bit. They got huge laughs. Mandy June didn't even come to the pitch, or she wasn't at the pitch. Carrie Bush was. So I just want to call Carrie out because she heard it. She called Mandy. Mandy's a for real producer, producing up in Duluth for Lifetime and for Hallmark. So Carrie is a good friend. Tashia, what were your recollections of that pitch?
I just remember making funny sounds that made Elizabeth laugh during the pitch.
Tashia said, "Oing,
oing." Like cartoon sounds?
A couple. Yeah. One.
Okay,
I remember I was so nervous that I took more CBD than I meant to. For my nerves, and I was like a little loopy when we were practicing for like 2 hours before, and then I snapped out of it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then I was just like, "This is gonna be awesome."
That was funny because everybody was so keyed up, and Tashia looked a little loopy. We were like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And she told us she took too much CBD, and then we all got the giggles for like 20 minutes, and then like everything was okay. Everything just went perfectly.
Wow.
So we won an award, and we got a little bit of money for that. So that allowed us to begin and start Native Love Jams Productions LLC, which will be the mechanism we use to receive funding to produce the film.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So how difficult is it from moving a book to a screen teleplay, a treatment? How hard is that? Nobody wants to answer that.
I'll
Yeah. Who's the writer?
Yeah, so that it was quite a process. I want to give a shout out to Mona Susan Power, who was a guest editor. She's an amazing award-winning author, and she was one of our guests. She was a guest editor for the program, the Native Authors Program, back in 2021, I believe. We were getting close to coming to a close with the program, and I had like a framework of the book, and I had some chapters written and such, and I submitted it to her, and she made a comment that she said, I love it. I could see it as a book and a movie, and like I hadn't thought of that, until she said that. And so from that point forward, I tried to, and I have had zero experience writing a screenplay, right? So, but I tried to make it very like, not a whole lot of extra words, right? Because I knew that it would have to get edited down. And so Native Love Jams is actually like 150 some pages of a book. And when I was, but 152 pages of a book is a short book, but it's a whopper of a screenplay, right? So yeah, like basically what I did was I took the book and I put it into this amazing software called Final Draft, which will help, like you can format to professional standards with this program. And so I actually, I edited just a little bit and I still had 152 pages. And at that point, we were still sort of talking amongst ourselves with Mandy, like, well, we don't know, is it going to be a film? Is it going to be a series? Like, maybe don't edit it down just yet. And so I sat on it for like 2 months. And during that time, I read and about writing screenplays. I watched a ton of YouTube videos about professionals talking about how to make screenplays. And when I went back to it 2 months later, I just cut everything that wasn't like physical action, immediate description, and then I got it down. I think it was like 110 pages when we had our first read through, and it was still kind of clunky. And that was in August, I think we had our first read through of the script. But yeah, so like in a book, you can give a lot of backstory if you want, but you can't really do that with a movie. Like, so instead of like writing 2 paragraphs of backstory, it was like, well, I'll write a montage, like a fun montage. You know what I mean? Like, so it's all visual and you don't have to say anything. And I found I'm just like, I'm in love with it now. Like I'm finding this next work that I'm working on, which is like the second installation to Native Love Jams, which stars Melanie, who is a character in Native Love Jams. She's not the main character in Native Love Jams, but she's the cousin and like the best friend to the main character, one of the main characters. And I'm finding that my process is a lot different this time around.
That's amazing because I'm a big David Lynch fan, and he said, you know, you have 70 scenes, how to and get 3x5 cards. If you have 70 scenes, you have a full length movie. That's or a feature film. That's amazing just to break it down like that. John, again, take the show over here. This is exciting. What's the next thing you want to talk about? We got a minute left in this segment.
Well, we've got some really great, exciting time crunch things happening in the next 7 weeks. And so when we come back from break, we want to talk about that. Robert John Ford, the director, said, someone asked him what makes a great movie. And he said, 3 great scenes and no bad ones.
Yeah. I like that. Except I don't like John Ford, right? Oh, wow.
I know, but he said it. But yeah, it was fascinating to hear and to watch Tashia's process. Elizabeth and I and Mandy were like blown away that Tashia could take a novel and condense it and break it down. And the story is funny. And Elizabeth and I were the first readers of the screenplay, so a little embarrassing. But we did it. So yeah, when we come back, we'll talk about what's upcoming.
Right on. This is Native Roots Radio, and we're going to be back, and we're going to howl with Howling for Wolves first. This is Native Roots Radio. Ho!
Everyone likes a litter-free ride on Metro Transit buses and trains, so pitch in. Take pride in your ride and take your trash off with you when you get off at your stop. You'll find trash bins at every Metro station. Want to help clean up transit stops in your neighborhood? Join the hundreds who volunteer to adopt a stop and keep it picked up. Learn more at metrotransit.org/adopt-a-stop. That's metrotransit.org/adopt-a-stop.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is often laced into illicit drugs and used to make fake versions of prescription pills. You can't see it, taste it, or smell it. Suppliers mix fentanyl into their products because it's potent and cheap, and the dealer might not even know. Keep yourself and others safe by knowing the real deal on fentanyl. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Make voting a tradition empowers Native American communities through civic engagement. For nearly a decade, MVAT has increased voter turnout by encouraging friends, family, and neighbors to get involved. By building trust and community engagement, MVAT ensures Native voices help shape the future. This election season, voting is easier than ever. Minnesota voters can cast their ballots early so elders and busy voters can avoid the rush of Election Day. Find your nearest polling location at sos.state.mn.us and let's make voting a tradition for future generations.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Oh, oh,
nice.
Oh, hey, right on. Hey, we are back, and we're talking about the movie Native Love Jams, and maybe we can start talking a little bit about the casting call. Where were John Williams, Tashia Hart, and Elizabeth Day, who are really making their community proud and doing this work. We're still here, and it sounds really exciting, John.
Yeah, we wanted to, well, Tashia wrote the novel, and then when Elizabeth and I read it, and as Elizabeth said, it was so fun. It was just so unlike most Native stories we're hearing these days. And this is, I don't mean this to say that the work that's being done isn't fantastic and I stand 100% behind it, but we wanted to do something that wasn't rooted in trauma. We wanted to tell a story that celebrated the joy of how Native people are falling in love in complicated and hilarious ways. And Tashia wrote a fantastic book, and then she did a fantastic job with the screenplay. Elizabeth's going to direct. Elizabeth and I, and now Mandy Turpin, will be producing the film. And we are in a situation right now where we have some investors that are interested. And so we're going to put on a table read on December 5th at the Main Cinema. Thank you to the Film Society for helping us with that event. And because of that, we need to cast. We need some actors to do the table reads. So we are doing a casting call, and I don't know how it's going to go. We're not quite sure how to do it, but Haley, I just sent you the Instagram post for it, which has the date on it, but it also has our email. So if you are interested in auditioning for Native Love Jams, it will be Saturday, November 2nd. We'll be doing the auditions at All My Relations Arts. And the way to reach us is nativelovejams25@gmail.com.
Yes. So people have to book an audition with you guys if they want to come try out.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. And you're accepting people of all ages, all sizes and everything like that?
Yep, right on the note there. All ages, all sizes, all genders.
Yeah.
Is it too early to ask to see if you guys need a key grip or best boy on this movie?
We do.
Get my resume going here.
Yeah, we do need. Oh, also casting and crew. We need Native crew too. All crew, catering, wardrobe, best boy, grip. All of it. We want to hire as many Native cast and crew as possible. Another note too about casting is if you want to audition for any role, I want everyone to feel welcome and open to read for any role you want to, regardless of gender, regardless of ability. We want to find the right actor for the right character. We're not set in stone. If a character needs to be rewritten in a different gender, we're open to that discussion. So everyone should come. If your heart is in it, we want to open this opportunity up for everyone. So.
Is there a part for an old radio host, Grandpa Choka Hoa?
Well, it's funny you say that, Robert, because for the table read, we need a narrator, and we'll be looking for narrators, and yeah.
He's all excited. He's looking at me like, that's me.
I just won an award for narrating a documentary in
right on.
Yeah, in Madison, Wisconsin. The trophy's like really heavy.
Dang.
Yeah, so I can add that to my resume. I just I'll bring it to your office and we can hand it around to people. It's silver, so I'll bring the silver cloth too. So
right on.
Yeah. I just need to hear you say interior community center day.
Yeah.
When I walks into the community center holding a boiling pot.
Well, I'll work on that before I embarrass myself on live radio. Oh, wow.
Oh, the table read is December 5th. Did we mention that? Thursday, December 5th at
Thursday,
the main.
December 5th. Invitations will be going out probably within the next 3 weeks. We are hoping to get our Native community support. We're hoping to get film community support so that when as the investors are there, they can see how strong our community is.
Yeah. This will be a fundraising event. We need to raise the money to get it shot. So if you're interested in investing, and we're putting together a package of information because Minnesota has some really great tax incentives that you get a full return on your investment. So, but that information will be in the packet.
Absolutely. That's great. And what are those called? They're called media kits, right?
Pitch decks, media kits, sponsorship opportunities, it's all kinds of different things, but it's a prospectus, really. We're looking for investors, and with the structure and with the timeliness of this story, with the success of Res Dogs, with the tremendous success of Lily Gladstone, we know that Native women see movies and can make a movie, and we know that. We want the whole Native community, but obviously women are often choosing what movie we get to see in the theaters, and we can't wait to bring this film to the theaters. We are projecting because we are just manifesting this whole thing, Robert, Haley. I don't want to say we don't know what we're doing. We didn't expect it to go this fast, and so we're scrambling a little, but it makes it kind of more fun. And what we've heard is and what we've decided is that there are no rules. We're going to do it our way. We're going to produce this with as much Native talent as humanly possible. We're going to tell a funny, lighthearted story that is, what's our little tagline? Hilarious, romantic, a little resi. That's our story.
Tashia, how exciting is it to see your characters come to life, at least in the beginning with a read, but that must be just really exciting.
My mind is blown. Yeah. I mean, I guess, well, I've always loved writing and considered myself a writer since I was a child, but just to be able to hear other people read it and then see it, I don't even know.
Yeah, that's beautiful. John, we got a minute left here. I'm wondering if you could just go over those dates again and how people can get a hold of you all, and then for the read.
Yes, Native Love Jams 25 at gmail.com. We are having a casting call on Saturday, November 2nd at the All My Relations Arts Gallery. You have to contact us at nativelovejams25 at gmail.com. We will get in touch with you and arrange a time for you to come in and for the casting. The table read for investors in the community is Thursday, December 5th. And more news will come. We'd like to come back as we get closer to that, if you guys will have us.
Absolutely. We love you guys, and this is exciting to watch this come to fruition. It's exciting. We witnessed and from our own news that you guys won this contest, and here we are going to be in a movie situation. We're just really proud to know you guys, and thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you.
Miigwech.
Right on. Hey, if you listen to the show, you're part of the resistance. We're still here. We are the seventh generation.
And free Leonard Peltier now. Indigenous communities face severe threats from pollution impacting both